Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Development Advisory Committee meeting. It's a virtual meeting by electronic participation, and it's August 9th, 2022. So tonight we have two meetings. One is a committee of adjustment where we will approve or deny or send back a minor variance. Then we'll adjourn the meeting. Then we'll move into the advisory portion of the meeting where we will provide comments to the county on two severances that are proposed. So I'll start with the roll call. Start with you, Paul Sedra.
Present.
Dennis O'Connor.
Present.
Deep Bassi.
Present.
And I, John Spruce, am present as well. And in the background, we have Jeff Bunn, our Deputy Secretary, Joanna Salzberg, planner from the county, and Secretary Treasurer for Committee, Lynn Banks. So do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest, Lynn?
No.
No?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay, great. So let's move into item number 5, approval of the minutes held on June 14, 2022. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by
I'll move.
Dennis, second by Paul. All in favor? Paul?
In favor.
Deep?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, so now we're going to start the actual application for minor variance permission. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic means are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting, electronic means are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Okay, so let's start with the application for minor variance on Section 45 of the Planning Act. And the purpose of the hearing is to inform or provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to the minor variance before us today. The township requests you please notify the Secretary Treasurer of the committee by email at lynnbanks@puslinch.ca if you wish to be on record and like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding this application. So the format is as follows. Staff will present the information, a report specifically outlining the purpose of the application, summarizing compliance with township's notification, and submission requirements and outlining staff's comments, agency comments, and public comments of those who could not attend. Then we'll have the agent or applicant present the purpose and details of the application and provide any further relevant information. Following this, the public can obtain clarification, ask questions, and express their views on the proposal. Each member of the public will have maximum 10 minutes to speak. Following this, members of the committee can obtain clarification, ask questions, and then the item will be taken into the committee for deliberation and render a decision. And the decision will be subject to the 20-day appeal period. So we have minor application D13 Hay, J. Paul Haynes, and Allison Tate, 217 Hume Concession 10, Part Law 11, Township of Puslinch, requesting relief from new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.2A1 accessory apartments. The purpose and effectiveness of this application provide relief from section 4.2A accessory apartments to permit accessory apartment to be 166.2 meters squared instead of 130 meters squared as required. So, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, agency comments and recommendations, as well as public comments who could not attend?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met, and the following comments were received from the Township of Puslinch Fire Services. They state that the department has no concerns with increasing the size of the unit, providing a building permit and electrical permit are obtained for the construction. The building department said they have no concerns from a building code perspective for the increased area from 130 square meters to 166.2 square meters. And technical items such as structural exits and fire separations for the accessory apartment will be addressed through the building permit process. The GRCA stated that they have no objection to the proposed minor variance and that information currently available at their office indicates the subject property contains provincially significant Arkell-Corwin wetland complex, floodplain, valley slopes, and the associated regulated allowances. Due to the presence of the above noted features, a portion of the subject property is regulated by the GRCA under Ontario Regulation 150/06. Any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit. The GRCA has issued permit 434/22 for the proposed accessory apartment, and the plans circulated with this application are consistent with the plans approved under the GRCA permit noted above. They do not anticipate negative impacts to the adjacent features as a result of this application or the proposed development, and wish to note that this application may be subject to growth plan policies for key hydrologic features, and suggest that the township county consider the applicable policies in the review of the application. Source Water said that since this property is located in a vulnerable area, wellhead protection area, issues contributing area, intake protection zone, etc., but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application be screened out and does not require Section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. We did not receive any outside comments, Mr. Chair.
Great. Jeff, could you please put on the screen a plan view?
Absolutely. One moment, please.
And Jeff, would you please have the owner or applicant join the panels to present the application?
The agent has been moved over as a participant.
Great, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Trying to figure out why my camera is not working, but let me fix this up. There we go. Good evening. My name is Shane Wilson. I represent Jason Haynes and Allison Tate. My company is Details Matter. I was hired by Jay earlier in the spring to design a new garage for him for his property. He has a collection of cars that he's looking to be able to store indoors and do some personal work on them just to take care of his collection. And at the same time, he saw an opportunity for us to be able to put secondary dwelling unit above that space. And we're asking for 166.2 square meters rather than the allowed 130. And this was just basically so that we could utilize the space that we're already looking to add with the main floor footprint. Primarily, this will be used for family and friends. I think there's the plan is for us to design it as an apartment so that it's a legal apartment for any kind of use down the road. But from what I've been told, the majority of the use is actually intended on being for family and friends because they have people over. And they just want to be able to give them their own little private spot where they could stay while they're visiting. Do you have any questions about the design?
Okay, I got an agenda to follow, Shane, so let me go through it. Jeff, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I am not aware of any members. No.
Okay, would you please canvass the audience to see if anybody would like to speak on this matter?
Absolutely. If any member of the public would like to speak who is in attendance, you can use the raise hand feature that you'll have access to. If you just want to raise your hand, I will move you over to speak. We'll just give you a moment to find that feature if you'd like. Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, so we'll turn it to the committee for questions. Paul, do you have any questions with the applicant?
No, I'm okay with this. Thank you.
Dennis,
I'm okay as well.
Deep?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, and I have no questions as well. So what I'll do is read out the actual wording. So there is no suggested conditions. So we either approve, deny, or defer. So I'll read out the actual description and go around the table. In the matter of section 45 of the Planning Act as amended, the new comprehensive zoning bylaw 2018 as amended, and an application for a minor variance requesting relief to permit a proposed accessory building of 166.2 square meters instead of 130 square meters as required. Paul?
I approve.
Okay, Dennis?
I approve.
And Deep?
Approve.
And I approve as well. And this is subject to a 20-day appeal period. Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're back to our normal screen. Move on to next item. Next item is other items, and there are no other items. And we need a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting at
I'll move it.
7:11. Moved by Deep, second by
Second.
Dennis. All in favor? Paul?
In favor?
Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
I'm in favor as well. Okay, so let's move into the next meeting. This is the Planning and Advisory Committee meeting. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. As I mentioned at the start of this session, we have two minor variances before us to review, and we will provide comments to the county. We'll do a roll call now. Start with Paul Sedra,
Present?
Dennis O'Connor,
Present.
Deep Bassi,
Present.
and I, John Sapoulos, am present as well. So Lynn, do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay. And let's move into the next item. Next item is number 5, approval of minutes of June 14th, 2022. May I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move
I'll
it.
move.
Moved by Dennis, second by Paul. All in favor, Paul,
In favor?
Dennis,
In favor?
Deep,
In favor.
and I'm in favor as well. So we have no application for site plan review. We have no zoning bylaw amendments, so we move straight into land division. We start with item 8A, but before I start, again, I must note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in a meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to have the likeness and comments recorded, posted on YouTube. Okay, so let's move into the first one. And Jeff, can you just put the item on? This is B7622. Thank you. So service application B7622, also known as D10 CHA, Maria Charbonneau, Part Lot 7, Concession Gore, municipality known as 6648 Gore Road, Township Puslinch. Proposed severance is 44.2 meters frontage by 111.24 meters deep, or 0.49 hectares. Vacant land for proposed rural residential use. Retained parcel is 2.88 hectares with 159.74 meters. Existing proposed rural residential use was existing dwelling. Okay, so we'll move. Again, I'll note again that the committee's mandate is to provide comments only to the land division when it considers the matter for approval. So Jeff, would you please have the owner applicant join a panelist to present the application?
Absolutely. They've been moved over to be a panelist.
Great, thank you.
Okay, hopefully I have opened up my video and unmuted. I'm not sure if you can see me there, John, or not.
Yes, we can, Jeff. We're good. So Jeff, for the record, would you please state your name and address and present your application?
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Charbonneau. My address is 6648 Gore Road, Puslinch, Ontario, N0B2J0. I am acting on behalf of my spouse, Maria Charbonneau, who is the registered owner on title for the property that we're going to be speaking about. And I think you already summed it up very, very accurately, John, but I mean, at the risk of being redundant, what we're looking to do here is sever a portion, the eastern portion of our lot, an area of approximately 0.49 acres with a frontage of 44 meters and a depth of about 111 meters. You can see it just on the right side, which would be the east side of the home and the driveway that you see currently there. This application started really in 2015, where we first approached and were successful to get a minor variance because of the minimum distance separation. And then before I could sever it, my daughter asked if I could hold off. She'd like to build on it someday, and that day has come. So she and her soon-to-be husband in another 10 days or so would very much like to build on this property, and that's the point of the severance today, John.
Okay, Lynn, were there any comments, agency comments received? If so, please read them.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. The Township Building and Fire Services Departments have no concerns. Public Works has advised that this section of Gore Road is under the authority of North Dumfries. And Source Water stated that they can confirm the property is located in a WHPA-D 25-year time of travel, and therefore the application be screened out and no notice is required pursuant to the Clean Water Act.
Okay, Lynn, can you just read the conditions of the township's proposing?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. So the conditions are going to be the township's two standard conditions. The first one is that the owner satisfy all the requirements of the township, financial and otherwise, including taxes paid in full and consent review and condition clearance fee. And at the time of the township, the issuance of the certificate of consent for the property. And the second one is that safe access to the proposed severance can be accommodated to the satisfaction of the township. And with this one, what we will do is confirm with North Dumfries that they're satisfied with safe access, and then we will issue our clearance letter for both of those.
Okay, Lynn, were there any public written comments received?
No, Mr. Chair, there were not.
Okay, I'd like to mention to anybody watching the hearing would like to provide comments or have questions regarding the application, that their comments can be heard at the Land Division Committee meeting. Joanna, do you know when this will be heard?
Yep, Mr. Chair, it is on September 8th for this round.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's turn to the committee members and see if there's any questions. Paul?
No, I'm okay. I'm just actually curious to hear maybe Dennis just on the, there's a barn there and looking at some of the calculations. Other than that, I'm okay with.
Well, Paul, the minor variance was
Oh, yes,
approved.
yes.
Yes, so there is no issue. with
Yes,
that, so we're
sorry,
still-
I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Dennis?
Yeah, just a point of clarification. I think the applicant said it was 0.49 acres. It's actually 0.49 hectares, which makes it over an acre. So just that's what
No problem.
I apologize. You are correct. I messed that up. 0.49 hectares. My
Okay,
mistake.
from it.
okay, and we move to Deep.
No, I'm okay with this one.
Okay, and I'm fine.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I might just comment real quick. So they did have the minor variance to the barn to the south of this property that you can see on the drawing in front of us. The county is also reviewing the surrounding barns to see if there are any conditions required for MDS compliance for the other barns. So you can see that there's a few on there, but the one to the south did have a minor variance in 2016. So just wanted to confirm that for the committee as well.
Okay, but there's one, according to the drawing, there's 4 barns and it appears that they've been met.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I know staff is still reviewing for compliance for the barn, I believe on this property or on the property directly adjacent to the proposed severed parcel. 26652 Gore Road.
And I assume that they will make sure there hasn't been any changes to the barns, like the MDS was done a few years ago.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe they have an updated farm data sheet that's being used to calculate that distance. Oh, you mean the barn to the south? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep, so I believe the planner on this file they are doing a review of MDS. They will look at the barn to the south and all the surrounding barns.
Okay.
So are you saying we may have to have another minor variance?
Through you, Mr. Chair, they may need one. I know the MDS hasn't been confirmed in terms of the calculation yet for the surrounding barns, but it is possible there may be another requirement for MDS compliance.
Okay, fair enough. So I presume that, Dennis, we should put a condition in its a minor
MDS
var-
is met.
Yeah, a minor variance, additional minor variance may be required for the additional barns and the change
And
use
any
of the
changes.
change use of the existing barns.
Yes.
Okay, Lynn, you've captured that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I did. We'll add a third condition that minor variance may be required for the additional barns and any changed use of the barn. And also, I believe Mr. Charbonneau has his hand raised.
Yes, Mr. Charbonneau.
Yes, I was just simply going to add as well, if we go back to the application from 2015 for the minor variance, all 4 barns that are shown and depicted here were included in the application for the minor variance. Just a point of clarification, but you have that application that you can refer to. The other thing is that we did fill out the farm data sheets to accompany the application that was submitted to the County of Wellington, and they should again be able to draw comparisons between those farm data sheets that were submitted that were done just a couple months ago to the ones that were done in 2015. And I think they will be satisfied that there has been no change of use.
No problem, Jeff. We're obligated to point out something to the.
Oh, exactly. No,
so
I just thought I'd add it. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much, Jeff, for your clarification. And so we
Through-
have these 3.
Through you,
conditions.
Mr. Chair, could I just jump in again real quick? In terms of the condition, typically, I've seen the approach of condition for MDS compliance for the severed lot to be achieved. I know there was also discussion about having the condition of a change of use for the barn, but because the barns are on the surrounding properties, I think just in terms of that wording, if that's what the committee is thinking, it's in terms of MDS compliance from the severed parcel, just because these other barns are on the other properties versus
Oh,
the change of
no,
use.
Absolutely, Joanna. The intent is the barns not on the property, but adjacent properties.
Thank you.
Okay, Joanna, sorry, Joanna, Lynn, can you reread that last item? Condition, I should say.
Certainly, Mr. Chair, that a minor variance may be required for the barns on the adjacent properties. And any change,
Due to any change in use
okay. Okay,
or any new barns.
okay, very good. I've captured that.
Okay, fair enough. So may I have a mover and a seconder for this?
I'll move.
Moved by Dennis, second by.
I'll second it.
Paul, okay, let's go around the table. Paul,
Approve?
okay, Dennis,
Approve.
Deep,
Approved.
and I'm in favor as well. All right, thank you very much. So let's move on to the next item. Okay, 8B, service application B 7722, also known as D10 RIT Shell Ritter, Part Lot 15, Concession 10, municipally known as 7726 Mulkey Road East, Township Puslinch. Proposed service is 37.5 meters by 106.2 0.45 or 0.4077 hectares vacant land for proposed residential, rural residential use. Retained parcel is 1.4793 hectares with 77.65 meter frontage, existing and proposed residential use with existing dwelling. Okay, so Jeff, you got it already, great. And I'll ask Jeff to bring forward the applicant or the agent.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm trying to move Nancy. Oh, it looks like she may have gone now. Just 1 second here. Okay, Nancy has joined as a panelist.
Great, thank you. Okay, Nancy, anytime you're ready.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Nancy Shoemaker. I'm the planning consultant representing the owner on the severance application. We have been working with the Grand River Conservation Authority to determine the appropriate setback from the natural heritage feature, the wetland feature, which is shown in stipple tone on the plan. We've created a 30-meter setback, so none of the proposed new lot would be within the regulated area, within the 30-meter setback, excuse me. There are also shown on the plan on the west side of Watson Road, 3 barns, and we've included the MDS calculations for all 3 barns, and the new lot is outside of the calculated setback requirements. The property is designated secondary agricultural, and the application meets the official plan requirements in terms of the minimum lot size being 0.4 hectares, and that is the size of this parcel. We have access to a public road allowance. The property owners have owned the property for at least 5 years. It's compatible with existing rural residential along both Watson Road and Maltby Road. I think those are and it's well removed from the settlement area boundary of Guelph. So I think those are the main points that I'd like to address. If you have any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them.
Okay, so let's turn to Lynn. Were there any agencies' comments received?
There were a few from the township departments. The fire department stated that they have no concerns with the application, other than reminding the future owners to be mindful when planting trees and vegetation beside the driveway to ensure future growth of the vegetation doesn't slow down emergency response to the home. The building department said that they have no concerns at this stage, and also noted that adjacent property will be required to be shown at the time of permit submission. Public Works had no concerns, and Source Water stated that the property is located in a WHPA-D 25-year time of travel, and therefore the application can be screened out and no notice is required pursuant to the Clean Water Act.
Okay, great. And Lynn, were there any written comments from the public received?
No, Mr. Chair, there were not.
Okay, so again, I'll mention that if there are any attendees watching the hearing who would like to give comments or have questions regarding this application, I'll ask that their comments can be heard at the Land Division Committee meeting, which is scheduled for September. So let's go around the table to committee members. Paul.
No, I'm okay on this. Thank you.
Okay, Dennis
I'm okay as well.
and Deep.
I'm okay as well.
Okay, so Lynn, the conditions we have, are they the same as you standard 2 conditions, or you have anything else to add?
No, Mr. Chair, it's just our standard 2 conditions regarding payment of the township's clearance condition fee and safe access.
Fair enough. Okay, so may I have a mover and a seconder for those conditions? Moved by Deep, second by Paul. All in favor? Paul,
In favor?
Dennis,
In favor?
Deep,
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. All right, so other matters done, closed meeting none. So next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 13th at 7 PM. And last item is the adjournment. Move to adjourn the meeting at 7:30. May I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Paul, second by Dennis. All in favor, Paul,
In favor?
Dennis,
In favor.
Deep,
In favor.
Deep, sorry, and I'm in favor as well. Great, thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.